Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a solo hammock overnighter in the forest, and we have rain in the forecast. So I've got the hammock situated behind me in an open porch configuration, anticipating a little bit of weather to roll in this evening or possibly this afternoon. With that all set up, my top quilt, my hammock, under quilt, tarp, and everything squared away, I'm going to quickly turn my attention to gathering firewood because I want a coffee and I want to secure some dry firewood for cooking supper later on this evening. If it does turn out and rain, I can at least hide the wood underneath of the tarp and keep it dry until it's time to light the fire. So I've got my backpack here. I've got my saw. I'm going to gather that, get all this stuff under the tarp, and get the saw out and go collect some firewood. All right, guys, we're moving right along today. I've already got the fire going, all the wood cut and split and ready to go for the evening. I've even gone as far as getting a hot cup of coffee on the go, and I'm going to take a few minutes to relax now. So it is getting a little later in the day. The sun is going to be setting in probably about an hour to an hour and a half. And I got to say, this location right here is absolutely comfortable. It is a very closed pocket of forest. I've got a very large boulder system of rocks just off to my right hand side. I've got the fire pit just ahead of me. I've got all kinds of little Christmas tree pines and spruce kind of off to the side. It's a very nice kind of comforting feeling just being stuck in a pocket of the wilderness. So I have been here before. Regular viewers probably recognize this location, and I slept exactly right here in a different hammock setup from that tree to that tree. Now I know I'm hung on a dead tree. I've already checked it out. It is definitely not going to be an issue for this trip. If it was high winds, I probably wouldn't be hanging on that tree, but tonight we're gonna do it. So I'm gonna take a few minutes and relax and enjoy my cup of coffee. And then I think after I'm going to start getting ready for supper because I don't wanna be cooking in the dark. I'd much rather have all that stuff done before the sunset. So coffee break time, guys, and I'll catch up with you at supper time. All right, guys, supper is almost ready. I have 2 sausages on a stick cooking really slowly over the fire, and I've got a nice cold drink to enjoy those with. The sun is setting really quickly, so I'm gonna have to hurry up and get this done if I want to have it done before darkness, and do a little bit of a cleanup because I don't want any food scent laying around camp and having visitors. Now, speaking about visitors, I did bring the trail cam with me again on this trip, so I'm gonna grab that out of my backpack as soon as I'm done eating, and I have a tree picked out off in the distance that should give me a really good field of view just to kind of see what comes in camp at nighttime. I should be able to see all across, get everything in frame, and if we do have any animals or visitors in the night, hopefully that camera will pick it up. That's really fun to kind of just to see what's around the forest and what comes in camp at nighttime. But these are cooking and they're almost done. This one down by the fire is basically ready. I could probably pull that off the fire right now, actually. And, oh yeah, that one's ready. So I'm gonna start eating that one. And the other one, I'm gonna let slow cook a little bit longer. And once I'm all finished, like I said, I'll do a thorough cleanup and then get some more wood on the fire and start enjoying a little bit of a campfire in the darkness. Okay guys, supper is all done and it is getting dark rather quickly and it's getting quite a bit noticeably colder. So I'm gonna get ready for nighttime by basically getting all my lighting ready. I've got my USB light bulb I'm gonna hang on my ridgeline, and then I'm gonna run my battery bank, which is already inside of the stuff sack, to the hammock. I'm just gonna run this cord all the way in there and kind of push it down towards the foot end and put this way up towards the head end. That way when I crawl in, I can have a nice warm light inside and not have to wear a headlamp all night long. So I'm gonna get ready for nightfall, basically just kind of do a once over, clean up camp, make sure all the food items are burned off in the fire, and just kind of do a once over. I'm also going to be closing the tarp later on this evening when I do crawl in, so I may close these 2 back doors now just to kind of button up the hammock, and then later on this evening I'll drop the awning down, close all the doors in, put my backpack underneath the hammock, and that way I can be kind of concealed in a pod of tarp, and that'll cut down on a lot of the wind and breeze that's going to come through here, as well as the moisture. So once that moisture sets in and that dew, that wetness kind of sets in the forest, the tarp will help keep all of that off my hammock. So I'm just getting ready for nightfall now, and then after this is all done, I think I'm going to be chilling out next to the campfire for quite a while before jumping into the hammock later on this evening. Okay guys, I'm finished with my cleanup and all my lighting on my hammock is ready to go for the night. I am now rigging up the trail camera to this tree, and I'm going to do a few test shots just to make sure everything is in frame. And this is something that is kind of fun to do. A lot of the viewers have been requesting this, and I've been doing it on a couple of overnighters here on the channel. So far, no luck on catching anything, or very good luck, however you look at it, but we're gonna get this strung up here tonight, and we're gonna see if anything bumps around camp during the nighttime. So I'm just gonna get this at an appropriate height, and I think this right here is probably looking good. Yeah, I think that'll do good right there. So I'm just gonna get this strapped in, do a couple test shots, show you guys what it looks like, and then leave it until nightfall. When nightfall finally gets here and I'm ready to crawl into the hammock, I'll come over and I'll turn it on, and I will let it go all night long and check on it first thing in the morning. Alright guys, so here is the field of view right now, and I'm just going to show you guys the test shot. It's a little difficult to see with the glare on the screen, but you guys can make out the hammock. We got the rock and the campfire. That field of view looks very good. I'm going to leave it just as is because it does capture the entire hammock and the camp area. So I'm going to shut it off and we will turn it back on when it is bedtime. Alright guys, so the trail cam is totally set up. I'm going to turn it on later on tonight so it can record during the sleeping time of this camping trip. And I just want to go over one other piece of kit that I brought with me today, where I am in the hammock and I am going to be watching movies later on tonight. So this is something that I've come up with, and I can't say I came up with it because I actually seen somebody else do this on YouTube. It was either YouTube or Facebook, I can't remember, but either way, this is a Ulanzi phone holder. These are very common. You just kind of put your phone in there, tighten down the screw, and you can put a microphone on top and whatever. These are very common on Amazon, but what I also have is this little Joby kind of GorillaPod tripod system. And I've had this for many years. Now there is a system for this, and if you guys know the system, you already know where I'm going with this, but there is a product called Hang Time, and basically it connects onto your ridgeline and then it holds your phone much the same way that this is going to, except this is not a Hang Time product. This is just a product that I've already had at home, and I've got the phone mount, so I figure why not put the two together and hold my phone and watch some movies in the hammock. So what I'm going to do later on this evening is run it upside down, and I'm just going to take these legs and kind of twist and contort them around the ridge line of the hammock, and then I can turn it sideways, line it up, and I can even tilt it up and down with this little handle here on the side, just like that. So essentially I have a Hang Time phone holder for my ridgeline, and I'm excited to test this. I've been meaning to do this for a while, but I just haven't got around to it. But today when I packed for this trip, I said, you know what, I'm going to bring it with me and give it a shot. So this is going to go upside down on the ridgeline, and hopefully it'll work out. I'll let you guys know in the morning if this worked out or not. But that's going to go in the hammock. So right now I'm basically going to be relaxing. I got my lights on. It is nighttime. The crackling campfire is calling me. I'm going to get some of these lights turned off and go park my butt right in front of the campfire and relax for a few hours. And then I am going to close in the tarp and basically make my way inside, get changed into some comfy clothes, crawl in, and start movie night. Alright guys, it is getting very, very dark out now, and it's almost time to crawl in for bed. It's getting very damp out, so I can feel the night air setting in, and a lot of the moisture and dew is starting to set into the forest. So I've got some tent pegs here. I might as well put them to good use and get this door shut. I am going to be closing all 4 doors this evening, and I think that'll work out really well just like that at keeping the hammock kind of secure and blocking a lot of that moisture So I'm going to get this done really quickly, and then I'm basically going to be jumping inside, making sure the fire is at a decent level that it's not going to spit embers on my tarp. So far I've been burning only hardwood, and it's been working out really, really well with no embers flying all over the place. So I'm going to get this hammock tarp all buttoned up and get some doors down, get the awning down, and basically get into night mode. Alright guys, so I've got the tarp doors totally shut, and I loaded one last log on the fire. I could hear it sizzling and crackling away. I could see the glow underneath the tarp, which I always like. And basically it's time to jump in the hammock and start relaxing. So that means the camera's got to get shut off. It is noticeably colder out, I will say that. And I just turned the trail camera on, so it is now recording. And I'm ready to jump in, guys. So I got to get out of this big old wool sweater and get changed into some comfier clothes. I've got my backpack down here already ready to go underneath the hammock for the evening. And I've got snacks in here as well, and I'm ready to have a great time. So I want to catch up with you guys first thing in the morning. Good night, guys, and I'll see you for coffee. Good morning, guys. It is a very cold and frosty morning out here in the forest today, so this campfire is a must today. This is very nice. My hands were frozen as I was crawling out of the hammock. Came over here, lit the fire. Now I'm nice and warm, so my coffee is nice and hot. As you guys can tell, see my breath. It is a frosty morning, so the whole backside of the tarp is totally covered in frost. All the leaves are sparkling and glistening in the sunshine as that's coming up on the forest floor, so that's pretty awesome. And this heat is amazing. So I am going to be finishing my coffee, or at least enjoying my coffee, in the sunshine, and then I'm going to grab that trail cam and take a look. Now last night there were some noises. There were screeching owls like crazy. There were sticks popping and heard thumping in the forest, so I'm rather interested to see did anything actually come up towards my hammock or not. We will find out very shortly, but right now I'm going to enjoy my hot cup of coffee and soak in some of these morning sun rays, guys. Okay guys, I just briefly looked at the trail cam footage on the tree, and it's still cold out, so I'm making my way back over here towards the fire and get my legs kicked up and soak in some of that heat. So what's the verdict? Bad news. We didn't get anything on the trail camera. Now I say bad news, some people might say good. No animals were in camp, but I was really hoping to catch something. Last night I did hear thumping in the bushes and I thought it was a deer, so I was anticipating a deer being right here kind of poking around, but there was nothing. There were just probably about 40 to 50 photos of me walking around camp late last night, pitching the tarp, shutting the doors, getting cleaned up. And one more thing I forgot to mention, I did have to go down to the lake. So I had my headlamp on, I walked down to the lake. I totally forgot. I had to fill up my water bottle for this morning. That way I didn't have to venture all the way down there just to make coffee. So I did have to fill up my water bottle. That was over the fire this morning, came to a boil, and that was my coffee water. But late last night, guys, there were some owls out screeching last night. There was thumping in the bushes. I thought for sure we were going to catch something on the trail camera. Sometimes that's just the way it goes. Now this has been recommended from you guys for me to continue bringing with me. This is, I believe, the third or fourth trip that I've brought this on, and it's nothing for me to pack. It's not very heavy, it's not very big, so I'm going to continue doing it because I know it's just a patience game. One of these days we will catch something, and hopefully it's not anything life-threatening, but that's the deal with the trail cam. Now I do still have my coffee on the go. I've already had breakfast too. I should mention that. I had a pack of oatmeal, and I'm just working on the last little bit of coffee. I'm going to take you guys over towards the hammock in just a few moments. I just want to soak in some of this heat, and I'll show you guys my movie rig hung on my ridgeline and how I watched my movies last night. That worked tremendously well, and I'll show you guys exactly how I set that up and how well it worked. So coffee, and then over towards the hammock, guys. Alright guys, so here's the movie rig for late last night. Now I do have my light cord kind of wrapped up in it, and as I mentioned last night, this is just a little tiny Joby, basically a twisting able kind of contortionist tripod. You could twist it and do all kinds of things with it, but on the bottom here is just one of those typical tripod phone mounts for vlogging and taking photos with your phone. And I basically just turned the whole thing upside down and wrapped the legs around the ridge so I could push it forwards or slide it this way. Now the benefit of this, especially in cold weather, is I can wrap my body completely up in my top quilt, up to my neck, my arms inside, and be nice and warm and watch hands-free movies rather than sitting there with the top quilt pulled down holding your phone the entire time trying to watch a movie. So this worked really, really well, guys. I'll try and take it off of here and just kind of show you a little bit. So that's basically the rig right there, guys. It worked really well, and I think I'm going to be doing this a lot more often just because it worked extremely well, and it's very packable as well. Now my phone is totally dead because I didn't put it inside of my top quilt last night, so the cold got at it, and yeah, the battery's dead, so that's a good thing actually. So we'll just leave that like that, but I just wanted to cover that for you guys. So if you're wondering how it worked incredibly well actually. And it'll work with any type of hammock because you could just bend these legs and just kind of stick them on there. And these tripods, I mean, it doesn't have to be that brand. You can go on Amazon and find all kinds of them. And yeah, it worked really well. So that was the movie setup, guys. I do have a little more coffee sitting on the ground calling my name, so I'm going to finish that up, and good old water bottle inside of the hammock trick. It's going to be pack up time, so I got to get all my gear out of the stuff sack that I have up here, get this light system down. The tarp, the back side is still frosted over, but the front side here is starting to melt, so that's kind of dripping down. So I like to get everything just kind of cleaned up and shake it out and jam it in the backpack and get ready to go. So wanted to cover this for you guys. Hopefully this is useful to some of you because this is a game changer for me, and this will work inside of tents as well. I just want to mention this really quick because certain hot tents that I use and certain 4-season tents have little toggles on the inside of the tent for gear lofts. Well, if you click on 2 carabiners with a piece of paracord, this would hook right on that inside of the tent as well. So I'll try that in other episodes on the channel when we go tent camping and see if it works, and I'll let you guys know. But for now, coffee, and then it's going to be pack up time. Alright guys, I've got everything packed away inside of the backpack, and that is one of the best things about hammock camping with down insulation. It is so fast to pack in the backpack and get back on the trail. Effortless. So last night I was very warm with my hammock set up. I found myself actually kicking the top quilt off the vent out a few times, even though it was below 0 degrees Celsius. So this kit worked extremely well. Now I do have to snuff out this fire, which means I've got to run down to the lake with my water bottle, come back up and douse that out. So I've probably got another 20-25 minutes here at camp, just making sure everything's cleaned up, getting the camera packed away and getting back on the trail. But all in all, this trip went extremely well. If you guys have any questions or comments, drop it down in the comment section and I'll be sure to get back to you on it as best that I can. So thank you very much and peace out. I'll see you in the next one.